Good morning, students. I hope you all are fine and staying safe. Well, this is Tashi Miss, and I just would like to let you all know that from today onwards, I will be taking your history classes. Okay, so there's still 4 more chapters to go, and the chapter that we're going to start today is Tribes, Nomads, and Settled Communities. Okay, so children, before starting the lesson, I want you all to turn to page number 91 from your textbook. That ways it will be easy for you to understand. So, in the first paragraph, it has been mentioned that in the chapters 2, 3, and 4, you all have already studied about kingdoms that rose and fell. Now, talking about the kingdoms, different kingdoms, you all have studied about the Delhi Sultanate, right? Where you have learned about the Khiljis and the Tughlaqs. Okay, so there was this rise of Khilji. After the downfall of the Khilji, again the Tughlaqs' power rose. After some time, again the power of Mughals rose. So you all have been studying about the kingdoms, different kingdoms that rose and fell. Okay, so along with the kingdoms, even arts, crafts, and production also flourished, also grew. Okay, now in the second paragraph, Varna system has been mentioned. Now, can you tell me how many classes were there in Varna system? Like you've done this before also, right? So, how many classes were there in Varna system? Yes, the answer is 4. And what are they? Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras. Now, उनीहरूको मेन अकुपेसन के थियो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ ब्राह्मन्सहरू चाहिँ को थियो ब्राह्मन्सहरू चाहिँ दे वर प्रिस्ट क्षत्रियाजहरू चाहिँ को थियो सोल्जर्स द जब अफ द सोल्जर इज टु प्रोटेक्ट द कन्ट्री टु प्रोटेक्ट द ल्यान्ड राइट सो सोल्जर्सहरूलाई चाहिँ क्षत्रियाज भन्थ्यो त्यहाँदेखि जसले ट्रेड बिजनेस गर्छ ओके मर्चेन्ट्स भयो बिजनेसम्यानहरू भयो उनीहरूलाई चाहिँ वैश्यास भन्थ्यो ओके एन्ड लास्टमा जो चाहिँ फार्मर्सहरू थियो लेबर्सहरू थियो उनीहरूलाई चाहिँ शूद्रास भनेर भनिन्थ्यो Okay, so as you can see here in the picture, the Brahmins are placed on top. That means in the society also, Brahmins were considered superior. Okay, there were certain rules and regulations that was to be followed in the society. र त्यो रुल्सहरू चाहिँ सबै कसले सेट गरेको थियो भन्दाखेरि कसले बनाएको थियो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ ब्राह्मन्सहरूले So according to that rule, Sudras were discriminated. They were not considered equal. Okay, they were termed as untouchables. They were ill-treated in the society. Okay, there was inequality in the society. Okay, so who prescribed these rules and regulations in the society? Yes, the answer is Brahmanas. Now, let us move on to the last paragraph, children. Beyond big cities, tribal societies. Okay, so here till now we were talking about a society, a Varna-based society where all the rules and regulations were set or prescribed by the Brahmanas. But at the same time, there was this other kind of society where rules and regulations set up by the Brahmanas were not followed, where there was no such rules and regulations, where everybody was treated equally. Okay, there was no discrimination. So such societies are often called tribes. Now let us try to find out more about this tribe. Okay, this tribal people lived in the forest, in the jungles, hills, and deserts, far, far away from the cities and towns. Their main livelihood was agriculture. Okay, that means they were engaged in agriculture. Some of them were hunter-gatherer or herders. Now, hunter-gatherer means hunting गर्ने and they will gather food. Herders means the one who rear cattles पालेको, So कतिजना tribal peopleहरू चाहिँ hunter-gatherers थियो, herders पनि थियो कतिजना. Members were united by kinship bond. Kinship bond means family or blood relation. That means यो मेम्बर्सहरू चाहिँ यो ट्राइबल पिपल उनीहरूको मेन मेम्बर्सहरू चाहिँ प्रायः उनीहरूको आफ्नै फ्यामिली मेम्बर्स र उनीहरूको आफ्नै रिलेटिभ्सहरू हुन्थ्यो अरे. Next, some tribes were nomads. That means the one who move from one place to another. Now next is, who were tribal people? Can you see this in your book? Who were tribal people? Okay. Now historians and travelers, they have given very scanty information about tribes. Scanty means very less information. Okay, less information about tribes. So we don't know much, we don't have much information about the tribal people. Since nothing has been written, there is no written records about the tribal people. But at the same time, we know so much about the kings, okay? Like Akbar, Babur, about the kingdoms and all. We know so much about them because everything was written down. But there was no one to keep the records of the tribal people. That's why we have very scanty information about the tribal people. They had preserved rich customs and oral traditions, and because of this we have few informations. Okay, oral tradition means written came China, okay, because they could not read and write, so उनीहरूकोमा written records came China. तर oral traditions, मुखले भनेको लाइक कथाहरू भयो, घटनाहरू भयो. सो यही ओरल ट्रेडिसन्स, विथ द हेल्प अफ दिस ओरल ट्रेडिसन्स फ्यु इन्फर्मेसन्स चाहिँ हिस्टोरियन्सहरूले ग्यादर गर्नु सक्यो. Now let us try to find the location of the major Indian tribes. Okay, now Punjab. पन्जाबमा चाहिँ कुन चाहिँ ट्राइब्सहरू पाउँथ्यो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ खोकर ट्राइब्स. ओके, त्यसको बादमा चाहिँ घकर tribes, they became very important, and they had their chief also, whose name was Kamal Khan Ghakkar. Okay, he was also made Mansabdar, a very high position during the time of Emperor Akbar. Now in Multan and Sindh, Langhas and Argans tribes were there. And in the northwest, Baluchis tribal people lived. In the western Himalayas, Gaddis, they were shepherd tribes, okay. In the northeast, there were Nagas and Ahoms, like you can see here in the map also, okay. Next is Bihar and Jharkhand. Well, there was this Chero chiefdom, and there was this general called Raja Mansingh. He was the general of King Akbar. So he had attacked Chero chiefdoms and defeated the Cheros in 1591. And the tribes that lived there were Mundas and Santals. And this Mundas and Santals also lived in Odisha and Bengal. So you can see there in the map also. Next is Maharashtra and Karnataka. Now the tribal people that lived there were Kolis and Birats tribes. Some of these Kolis tribes were also found in Gujarat also. In the South India, there were Koragas, Vetars, Maravars tribes. Okay, you can see there in the map also. Okay, and in the western and central India, central means Tibichko, त्यहाँनिर you all can see Bills, capital Malay China, BHILS, Bills tribes were there. In Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh, Gonds tribes were found. So these were the names of the major Indian tribes. Now, talking about the tribes, even we have tribal people living in Sikkim, right? So you find it out yourself, the tribal people that lives in Sikkim. So today we have learned about the lives of the tribal people and the names of some major Indian tribes. So in the next class, we will learn about how nomads and mobile people lived. Okay, we will do that in the next class. Till then, stay safe and take care.